Testing. Testing, testing. There we go. Testing. There we go. Perfect. Testing. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Austin Levin. With me is Edison Palumbi for this afternoon's quarterfinal matchup for the state tournament for tennis. Here today, it's the St. Christopher Saints and against Bishop Ireton. Bishop Ireton will be the 8th seed. The Saints, after coming fresh out of a prep league victory, are the 1 seed. Bishop Ireton the 8. Edison, what are your thoughts heading into this matchup today?
Yeah, the Saints obviously coming into this tournament with big expectations, being the 1 seed. Obviously, they're going to be the heavy favorite in this game. Hopefully, they don't just take it for granted and they actually take them seriously, because, you know, sometimes when a team's heavily favored, they're going to kind of blow off a lower seeded opponent, and then a big upset could happen.
I couldn't agree more, Edison. You can sort of feel it scouting that around before the game. You can feel the confident energy for the Saints.
Yeah.
And you could argue it's borderline cocky, but then to the point, right, you have almost, when you're as talented as the Saints are, it's very difficult not to be cocky at how
definitely.
you perform this year. There are, I think, very few players on the Saints who are not happy with how this year has gone for them or anything like that, because they've just been, frankly, exceptional.
Yeah.
And unless it's Trinity and maybe a few other schools, I don't think the Saints really feel threatened by any of their opponents, which can be dangerous, but then this.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting match. Saints definitely, on paper, have the upper hand, but if they kind of overlook their opponent and look forward to some of their later round matchups, who knows, anything could happen.
Absolutely. Bishop Ireton taking on the Saints #1, Evan Fisher. The two teams #1s here. It's the match we're covering. Fisher, the Mary Washington commit, I believe, and
yes.
Matt Antonio, do not know anything. Unfortunately, could not find anything about his college hopes or anything about that. But it should be a matchup. I think Evan Fisher again, heavy favorite here.
Yeah. I mean, Evan's been dominant all year, so
yeah, only lost very, very few matchups, I believe, to the Benedictine Ace. Maybe did he lose one to the Freeman Ace too? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
And I believe also, of course, Roman Sincilio got him one time. However, he bested Roman Sincilio one other time, and then in prep, Sincilio bested him. So they'll have him and Sincilio will likely have one more matchup if the Saints can advance here far enough in states. That is highly anticipated. Trinity's been the biggest threat to the Saints, and if anyone's probably going to knock the Saints off, it'll probably be the Titans.
Definitely.
That being said, it'll be steep work for the Titans, considering just how dominant the Saints have been.
Yeah.
And let's go watch the teams warm up here. Fisher and Antonio. Fisher And welcome back. We're about to get underway here. Fisher versus Antonio. Should be starting shortly. Fisher will be in the all white. Antonio's got on burgundy pants. They're going to go sit down, give themselves a breather, and then they're going to go get started.
Three, yeah.
And we are underway. I'm not quite sure if that landed or not. It was out. It should be 15 love Antonio. Good start for Antonio. See how Fisher responds. Let from Antonio. Good shot right there from Antonio. 30 love. Put some difficult spin on that one.
Yeah. Like Evan was unsure of how the bounce was going to go.
Kind of feeling out his opponent here. 30 love. Antonio serves. Errant. It's a fault. And double fault. 30-15. Another fault from Antonio. Serve struggling here. And 30 all. Fisher quickly matches it there in the first game. $30 all. Antonio serving. And I believe they're going to rule that, Fisher's going to rule that a fault.
Yeah.
Little inside. And double fault, 40-15. Actually, I think that might actually be the game. Fisher might have just taken. Yeah, that is the game. Should be one game to nothing. Fisher. That first point must have been long. Good start here for Fisher.
Yeah. Never want to put yourself in a deficit early as the favorite, and
He made that look quite easy.
yeah.
Antonio took a couple bold shots, went right for the corners a few times, and he had Fisher moving a few times, just couldn't quite execute. Fisher will serve now, up 1-0 over Antonio. I believe that should be. I'm not sure if Antonio called that out.
I believe I heard him call it out. So.
Great rally right there, but Fisher comes out on top. It's 15-0. The one Antonio called out, that was barely out. That was a very close call. Benefit of not having officials.
Yeah, it did look like it was out.
I thought that was in. But, you know, it's an honor code system here, and if he thought it was out, he thought it was out. Great shot right there from Antonio. 30-15. Great. Completely dominated that point. 30-all. (40-30). Fisher made that look easy. He's completely controlling, completely controlled the last 2 points.
Yeah, Evans looked great so far.
Matter of fact, he did not like one of those shots. Still worked out perfectly. And I think he called that out. It's going to be fault one.
Yes, he did.
(40-all). Deuce. And advantage for Fisher. Actually, no, correction. That's just game 2. Fisher goes up 2-0.
Yeah, great start from Evans so far.
You see complete control. The first game, Antonio really not able to get any rallies going. Game 2, Fisher just controlled every point. Just when he would return it, it was Fisher moved them where he wanted them to go. First fault there from Antonio.
Antonio's been struggling a little bit with his serves.
Should have a few guest commentators here today, tennis players, at least one. (15) Love. Antonio. I believe so that was out. Fault 1. And fault 2, 15-all.
Good response there.
Well, that wasn't much of a response.
Yeah.
Two faults.
Good result.
Yeah. Serve been struggling here for Antonio.
I believe that's the 3rd time he's conceded points off a double fault, so definitely something to keep an eye on.
Oh, and a careless blunder right there from Fisher. Antonio needed that. 30-15. Yeah, when you're playing an opponent like Fisher, you cannot make careless mistakes by like double faulting. He's too good of an opponent to do that too. Playing a Division I tennis player cannot afford those blunders. We just witnessed a rare mistake though from Fisher. that's going to be 40-15. Antonio looks like he'd be taking this game. And first fault there from Antonio. And just like that, we're matched the deuce. Fisher fights back here.
Yeah, this would be huge if Evan can come back and
go up 3 games to nothing.
Yeah.
And advantage going to be for Antonio. Fisher not happy with that one. Big time shot right there from Antonio.
Yeah, he needed that.
And first game for Antonio there, and it's 2-1 now. And welcome back. We got a guest commentator here. It's Jeffrey Mitchell. Evan Fisher right now up 2 games to 1 over Matt Antonio. Tell me, Jeffrey, what have you liked from Fisher so far, and what have you hoping he can improve on so far?
Well, first of all, Austin, I really appreciate this opportunity to sit alongside such a juggernaut in the announcing industry here. I mean, I don't know what Jim Nance thinks he is. I mean, compared to you, Austin. So we're gonna miss you here at St. Chris, but yeah, I mean, Evan's not really playing his best so far, and I think that's due to he's kind of struggling to get a rhythm off this kid, the Bishop Ireton guy. Sorry, I don't know his name.
It's Matt Antonio.
All right, Matt Antonio. But yeah, just not a lot of rhythm, not a lot of long points, and Evan kind of likes that because he's an offensive baseliner, so he plays off of rhythm really nicely. I think that's why he plays against Roman so well, is because Roman, he kind of gets the ball in, and then Evan can make plays with that.
Antonio has struggled with his serve.
That is true.
And big time serve. I think that you think that landed, Jeffrey? Could not quite see from there.
That was out.
All right. And I believe that's a double fault right there from Fisher. 15 love, Antonio. And I think if I heard the right, Fisher claiming that this one's boring so far, as in Antonio not able to return the ball.
That was in. That was in.
I thought it was in.
Yeah. Good second serve ace.
Beautiful ace right there from Fisher. And it's 15 love Fisher.
It's another great serve. Evans, I mean, some guy that's worked extremely hard in his game all offseason, all season. I mean, he plays like twice a day. It's crazy. He's so committed to the game.
And it is 40 love already. Fisher going to work in game 4.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a big serve, it's pretty nice when you can just hold like this.
No, Fisher last year was the 3. Now he has surpassed the 2, Brennan Ingle, and is now the 1. That shows how hard he's worked. And is that, I believe that's game 4.
I think that was
out. That was out.
Yeah.
Just barely out. Nearly had game 4 right there.
Yeah, I think that's where the lack of rhythm kind of comes into a play because, I mean, if Evan had hit a couple forehands before that and then had that approach shot, it would have been a lot nicer. But because it's just so sporadic, it's just tough to get a feel for it.
And that is the game. Game 4, Evan Fisher takes that pretty handily. Very, very quick game. And again, I think Fisher loves a challenge, and I feel like he's a little frustrated that he feels like he's not getting it, even though Antonio did take one game.
Yeah, but he'll get his challenge come, I mean, assuming we make it to Friday, we'll probably play Norfolk, and I mean, that's a tough match against a really good opponent. And then if we make it to Saturday, of course, Roman again. So he's not going to have to wait very long.
And a fault for Antonio. Antonio's serve been a real struggle, Jeffrey. Anything from a mechanical standpoint that is causing Antonio's serve to be errant, to say the least.
I feel like I've seen a couple go into the net, which usually means they're kind of dropping their head, dropping their body before they hit it. Yeah, see that again. He also kind of dropped his front arm. It's really important. I mean, I make this mistake all the time, too. You got to stay up and keep your upper body kind of locked into the serve and all the way until after you've hit it.
15 love. 15 love here in game 5. That just out, I believe.
Yeah.
Just out. 15 all. 15 all.
Yeah, Evan, I don't know. That was just kind of a poor shot.
I think he was getting a little greedy there, trying to go right for that back corner and just overshot it barely.
Yeah.
And another fault for Antonio. And you got to wonder if you're Antonio, you might want to start overcorrecting here. A lot of these faults going short, maybe just want to put a little more on it. Rather honestly see one go over than out.
Yeah, it's kind of tough in pressure situations, but you just got to sometimes tell yourself when you're hitting it into the net, like, you just got to go for it. And if I hit it out, I hit it out, but at least I went for it.
30-15, Antonio. Now, the thing he's talking about rhythm, right? This whole all these faults, if you could argue, are actually helping Antonio in the long run. They're taking Fisher out of rhythm, and honestly, I think without these faults, it's 4 games to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, faults are, tough, but yeah, definitely lack of rhythm, and you could see that on the return right there. Just not very engaged.
40-15 here. Antonio looking to get his second game. It would be a and it is 30 to
match. I'm Evan Fisher right there. Just, taking what the opponent gives him and playing a nice offensive shot, moving in from the baseline.
And we're at and all these rallies have gone to Fisher. When you get a rally going here, Fisher's got a clear advantage. For Antonio to take points, he's got to win them quickly.
Yeah, it's so tough to get into a rally with a player that's not really close to you in the ability, because I think Evan's a lot better, but you almost have to hit down when you're so much better, because if you try and keep your pace, you're just kind of forcing shots. And yeah, it can be tough.
I believe it's going to be, did he just, no, he did not, sorry. It's Deuce still, back to Deuce. Back to Deuce. Antonio been his own worst enemy. We talked about that's kind of helped him in a complex way. Fisher in rallies been unstoppable. And advantage Fisher.
Yeah, that was a nice return.
Barely overshot that, but still overshot it.
Returns and serves, 2 most important shots in the game. If you can master those, that's a lot of points coming your way.
And we've seen Fisher master both of them here. And we're back at Deuce. Great. That's what Antonio's got to do if he wants to win some quick win, move Fisher around a little bit. That's exactly what you want to do. If you're Antonio. However, they don't do that very few times here today. He did do that in his one-game victory here.
good shot by Evan.
And yeah, completely a good rally right there. Big time shot on that corner right there to return that.
Yeah.
Kept himself alive.
That was a nice rally, and I mean, Evan could be hitting with so much more pace, but good patience by him, and yeah.
Antonio also failed to capitalize on the lack of positioning from Fisher getting that corner and put one right in the middle instead of right to that left side. Didn't make Fisher really have to run for it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a lot worse than a player, you have to play like really aggressive. You just got to tell yourself, all right, I'm going for it, and if I win, I win, but if I lose, you know, at least I gave it a fight. And Antonio's got to kind of take that mentality.
Fault. Advantage Fisher here. And Fisher takes that one as well. It's going to be
4-1 Fisher.
4-1 Fisher. There we go. Heading into Game 6, Evan Fisher is on a complete roll.
Well, Austin, I might have to head back to the team, but nothing more would make my year next year than if I heard you on the two-lane calls.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. It's been a pleasure having you. Take care and good luck to the Saints.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
And welcome back, Edison.
Hello.
What have you liked from Fisher here as we head into Game 6?
I think the most impressive thing so far is that even though he hasn't been playing his best, he's still been in control the entire time. And I could hear him getting frustrated himself for not being focused during the last point, but even with that, he still managed to fight through and have a commanding 4-1 lead, even without playing his best tennis.
I think he's also a little frustrated with his opponent. I think he, you can see he said he felt, I heard him exclaim that he felt bored a little bit. And I can see where he's thinking that Antonio, you can tell he's got moments of greatness here with a few incredible shots, but the serves have been an issue for Antonio, and that means a lack of action for Fisher.
Yeah, on some of the other courts, you can see Bo Barber, sophomore, is winning 5-0 right now over his opponent.
Yeah, that's a big one here.
Yeah, I can't quite see what's going on down on the third court.
And I believe it's going to be 15.
That looked out.
Yeah, so 15 15-0 Antonio. 15-love Antonio. 15-love Fisher. Let from, sorry, fault 1 from Fisher. And double fault, 15 apiece. Rare double fault from Fisher. And another fault serve, struggling here from Fisher right now.
Yeah, this is very uncharacteristic.
And 30-15, Fisher here struggling. This game serve has been an issue.
Yeah.
Now for him, feels like almost Antonio struggles with the serve today, contagious, if you will.
Another serve is out.
And a 30 all.
Yeah, these are the points that are going to define this game, these next two. If Evan can take both, his lead's up to 6-1, and at that point it looks like he's almost guaranteed to take the match. But if he loses the next 2 points, it's 4-3, and at that point anything could happen.
Yeah, these next two games coming up big here, as right now we head to 40-15 as Fisher looks to close out game 6 and go up 5-1. Another fault there from Fisher. And there's an ace right there from Evan Fisher. As that will conclude game 6. Fisher up 5-1.
Yeah, great response from him after going down 15-0.
Going down 30-15, you can see all the momentum was in favor of Antonio in that particular game. Fisher's serve was struggling, but he still managed to land a lot of the second ones and end it with an ace.
Yeah. Huge comeback for him there.
And fault from Antonio. Serving struggles here for both players a little bit. Much more in the case right now of Antonio. We'll see how he can deal with this. And 15-love Antonio. Two very talented tennis players here.
Bo Barber is now up 7-0 in his. So
Bo Barber seemed very confident in his matchup heading into it.
yeah.
Talked to him a little bit before the match. Seemed very confident, and you can see that here. 7-0. He had apparently good reason to be that.
Yeah.
And is that 30 love?
I believe so.
30 love, Antonio. Fault there from Antonio.
Yeah, both players really struggling with the serves.
And 40 love. Antonio making great work here in this in game
6.
game
7.
game 6.
It's 5-1. It's game 7.
Oh, correction, game 7. Sorry, game 7. And making great work here. Fall there from Antonio. And Fisher keeps himself alive.
There are a lot of guys who won like 7 matches down there.
And he's going to take, Antonio's going to take that one. Fisher not happy as it is now 5-2. From a mental standpoint here, Fisher not happy with the way he's playing. He's got to, settle down and bounce back. Service struggled. Antonio's got to be happy here, get 2 games off Fisher. Fisher's such a talented tennis player. Showed that in his win against Roman Cecilio. And he's beaten many other incredible opponents. This is to just get 2 games off a guy like that for Matt Antonio here is big. And Antonio's shooting for more than that.
Yeah.
And if Fisher keeps making a few careless mistakes, he may get a lot more. Which is why, if Fisher, you gotta take back momentum here.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to let Antonio get this to like 5-4. So.
No, and I think from judging from the way that most of this match has played out so far, that should not be likely. But
Yeah.
that last game was a dominant showing. Fisher only got 15 there.
Yeah, he
Not
really struggled.
Really struggled. Could not hold out. First time I think all day we've seen Antonio win rallies. The rallies basically had all been very one-sided when you see like these long rallies. But there, Antonio they weren't. For Antonio, the key is he can't get into very long rallies with Fisher, but he can. In that game, you saw him get into longer rallies than he normally does. He normally has done so far, and actually win points.
Yeah.
which is something that is, Fisher's frustrated with. But again, he cannot. If you're Antonio, you cannot prolong these rallies. You need to end things quickly because the longer it gets going, the more rhythm Fisher gets. And once Fisher's in rhythm, he's pretty much impossible to stop.
Yeah, definitely.
And the people who can stop him are a very, very select crowd and in the state. And And we're about to get back here. 5-2. Evan Fisher looking to make some adjustments here and elongate his lead. And score updates. Sterling Burke up 7-0. Brendan Engel up 6-1. That's the Saints 2 and 3. Engel being the 2, Burke being the 3. Both of them dominant showings here. Fisher looking to go up 6-2. And as we commence game 8. And Evan Fisher, you can see the look in his eyes, determination, and, almost like this honed in anger right there as he absolutely nails a serve, and then an incredibly hard hit return on a, because the serve was so hard, made a difficult return for Antonio, managed to keep it in play.
Yeah, dominant showing there.
Just dominant point right there for Fisher. And fault there. And big time shot from Antonio, 15 all.
Blake Caldwell is up 9-0 right now, so dominant performance from him. As Antonio's going to launch that one into the crowd.
Yeah, 30-15. You can see Fisher's locked in now. You see it in his eyes. He's honed in anger. $30-15. The serve feels like even. Fisher encouraging himself to focus. The serve has been harder hit than ever before. I feel like the rest of the day, absolute missiles, and he already hits it hard. Called that out. Fault 1. 30 all. 40-30. Fisher.
Bo Barber's up 8-1 right now in his match.
I believe it's 7-1. 7-1 Barber lead.
Is it 7-1? It looks like he tried to bring down the 8, but it just didn't get down all the way.
And there's Evan Fisher takes that one. Game 8 goes to Fisher. And a big-time missed opportunity right there from Antonio.
Yeah, looked like
Fisher
he would have
takes
had
the
a
point. And Fisher, frustrated with himself, knows that that was a lucky break right there, as it's 15 love Fisher in game 9.
That was out.
Yeah, fault from Antonio. Double fault. Or no, I think it was that in. I think that's going to be an ace from Antonio. Barely got that one in there.
Really
15
impressive
all.
serve.
Yeah, nothing you really can do if you're Fisher there. And we got a score update. Jake Coolin, the Saints 6, beat his opponent 10-1. And I believe that was out. 30-15 Antonio. Coolin, first match of the day done for the Saints, and it's already 1-0 team score for the Saints. And it looks like it's about to be more.
Yeah, Bo Barber and Blake Caldwell, like they're wrapping theirs up. Looks like Blake might be done.
Blake is done, I believe, and that is
So
2-0 Saints.
Bo about to wrap his up.
And if Engel was already up 6-1, he could be potentially wrapping his up soon, too. Caldwell won. Blake Caldwell won 10-0.
There's a fault.
30-15 here, Antonio. And 40-15. Fault. Or is he saying that landed?
I think that was in.
And that might be 3 games for Antonio. That is. That landed. Fisher didn't even play it. And it is 6-3.
So really impressive showing by Matt Antonio there.
Yeah, but I think Fisher's starting to get frustrated, and it's starting to show.
Yeah.
And in moments that's helped them, you can see like how he feels like he's hitting the ball even harder.
Yeah.
And you can see the frustration. Just it's there. The issue is to also increase the careless mistakes from Fisher.
Yeah. Evan was up 3-0 at one point, but since then they've alternated points, so.
And update: Brendan Engel still at 6-1, holding a 6-1 lead over his adversary. That's gonna be, I believe. Hang on, let me pull it up. Hang on, folks. Sorry. And, okay, let me see. Brendan Engel's playing Camilo Gomez and Sterling Burke up 8-1 in his matchup against Drex Reeder. Caldwell beat Val Schroeder 10-0. Coolin beat Aiden Bain 10-1 as Fisher and Antonio look to go get things back started up. Saints here only need 5 for this to be over and done with. As it states, right, there's no need for doubles or anything like that. Seating set, everything's all taken care of.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have that soon enough as with Burke and Barber both looking like they're about to wrap their matches up.
And Antonio goes up 15 love. He's locked in. You can see it from Antonio.
Yeah.
Right. He knew that. I probably knew of how talented Fisher was and how good the Saints team was. And now as Fisher's made a few mistakes, Antonio gaining momentum here, and you can see it in the enthusiasm and sort of the energy that's on his in his favor right now, as he is playing red hot right now. That was a great rally, and he won that one. And he's not won many long rallies today. Another mistake from Fisher, 30 love. Brendan Engel now up 8-1 in his matchup.
So, assuming there's no crazy comebacks, the Saints looking like they're going to wrap this up pretty soon. It's a really nice serve. Looks like Bo Barber is done.
And yeah, Saints going to win yet another one. Only one more and this is over.
I believe they still need 2 more, right?
No, it's first to five seals.
Yeah, they're at 3 right now.
But Barber, Coolin,
Caldwell.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, but Engel and Burke getting pretty close.
Running them all over the court. Great effort from Antonio, but it's not going to matter. 30 all, I believe.
Yeah.
Gotta love the effort, though, from Antonio.
Yeah, definitely.
And 40-30, Antonio wins another rally. He's locked in right now. Just playing incredible tennis.
Yeah.
Much stronger than how he started out. He looked nervous and shaky to begin with. Now he's looks like a different player almost. And that, I believe, no, first fault.
Yeah.
And that is the game.
6-4.
Careless shot there from Fisher, sailed that.
Yeah, Evan got off to a 3-0 advantage, but since then,
It's been all Antonio.
yeah, he's been outplaying him since then with a.
Fisher's in his head, you can see it.
Yeah.
Love Fisher. And is that 30-15 Fisher now?
Yes, I believe. Wait,
Or 15 all.
15 all. Yeah,
15 all.
I believe
15 all.
that's right.
Big time shot from Fisher there. And into the net there. It should be 30 all now. No, correction. No, still 30-15 Fisher. And it is 30 all.
Some uncharacteristic struggles from Evan here.
And fault 1, 30 all. 40-30, Fisher. Fisher really needs this game, otherwise this is going to be arguably. But that's a fault. Lucky break from Fisher, and that will be that game. Fisher's going to take that one.
Make it 7-4.
And he really needed that one in a big way, and he got a lucky break right there on that let. We'll see if they recapture momentum. And did that just conclude the match because it's 5-0? I'm not quite sure. Brooks, can we get an update?
Are they?
I think they might still continue.
Yeah. I think they might just continue under the knowledge that this match won't actually affect the overall results.
(30-15) Antonio, I believe. Oh, correction, 30-11 Antonio. Fault there. (40-love Antonio. Yeah, so confirmation there. Engel and Burke both won theirs. As it's 40-love here in game 11. Sorry, game 12. Fault from Antonio. And that's another game from Antonio.
7-5 now.
7-5. Yeah, folks, just to clarify, the matchup as a whole, not this particular one, but the overall matchup is over. The Saints are already up 5. No, that seals it. They are heading to the semifinal. However, this is for pride here, and Fisher really wants to win here. So does Antonio. As a fault from Antonio. And Fisher's going to take that one. Believe that is 30-15. It's been all Antonio here recently. Fisher got a couple games in, but ever since that 3-0 start, it's fallen apart. Fault. And 40-15, Antonio looking to make it. No, I think he just took that one too. And just like that, it is 7-6. Antonio has completely came back here, and Fisher very frustrated. You can see it. He's in his own head at this point, and he's got to get out of it.
Yeah. Definitely some uncharacteristic struggles. These are not mistakes you would normally see him make.
And the more mistakes he makes, the more confident Antonio gets, and the more he feels like Antonio feels like he is in a different world, if you will.
Yeah.
In a world where he cannot make mistakes and is playing flawless tennis, because that's what we're seeing from him. He's playing an incredible back half of this match. The faults that were plaguing him early have not been anywhere. And, well, I think Fischer was bored at the start. Now he'd be hoping for that boredom again, because there are no more faults, and we're not seeing mistakes from Antonio right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of these wins in the most recent games, they've been dominant wins. They've been like 40-15.
Yeah.
They've been 40-15. There's not like it's not been deuce and struggles. No, it's been Antonio making quick work here.
Yeah, ever since Evan got it to 3-0, Antonio's really been dominating.
The overall match, once again, folks, is sealed. Evan Fischer in the white pants, Antonio in the burgundy.
I believe that was out, so 15-0 Antonio.
15-love Antonio. And 30-love Antonio. (30-15). And 40-15.
Evan really struggling this match.
I think Fischer wondering why he's still playing this one, but I think Antonio wants a chance. And is that 7-all?
Really impressive from Matt Antonio. Is 7-all now.
And we're going to see an epic conclusion here. Fischer's trying to desperately reclaim momentum as it's Antonio's serve. Fault one on the let. It's a double fault. There we go. Barely grazed the net there. 15-love. Another
3
fault.
faults in a row.
Yeah,
Antonio's
serve.
early game, serve struggles coming back.
Yeah, that's a little surprising to see. He has not made that mistake in a while.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's good. It'll help Fischer regain some of the momentum.
If Antonio wants to complete the comeback and win this, those mistakes can't be happening.
And great serve from Antonio. Fischer plays at 30-love here. Fischer.
Yeah, this is exactly the start he needed to have on this set.
Fault. That was a brilliant serve, though, from Antonio that
Yeah.
Fisher returned. That was excellent play for Fisher to return that. And double fault again, 40 love. Antonio now, who had looked inhuman almost for the ever since he was down 3-0, has now kind of reverted a little bit in
Yeah.
this in game 15, as it's 40 love. Another fault, 40 love. Fisher here. And I believe that was out, and that is
that was
8-7.
6 faults.
Yeah.
And 7 serves.
Big time blunders there, almost folding in the moment right there from Antonio.
But big win for Evan. He really needed that, and he's beginning to recapture the momentum as he now has an 8-7 lead.
Yep, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. We got another guest commentator here. It's St. Christopher's tennis player Nick Menendez. And Nick, pleasure to have you here. What have you seen so far? Break down this matchup from your point of view.
Well, thank you for having me, Austin. This is an interesting one. Technically, St. Chris has already clinched today. We've won five lines, and
decisively, I might add.
Decisively, that's right. And one might wonder why this match is still continuing to be played, but Fisher seems to be unhappy. There's always an injury risk, and you think of the NFL, right? You rest your starters once you've clinched the playoff berth, isn't that right?
Absolutely, and but I think what complicates things, right, is you got the pride of Bishop Ireton here.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to get one game off, and this has been a dogfight.
And it's a 2.5-hour drive. You want it to be worth something.
Yeah, and this is, it'll be.
But it's a good fight. This is a solid match, and this guy's a good fighter. This is kind of the match that it can be frustrating to play when you're not mentally engaged because you have to be on your game every point. Because when your opponent's getting every ball back, you just have to outlast them, and when you're kind of mentally disengaged, that's tough to do. So I think Evan will just look to lock in here and finish out the 2 games.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see the frustration, a lot of careless, uncharacteristic blunders from Fisher here.
Yeah.
And as Fisher has made mistakes, it feels like Antonio started to play better a lot. The mistakes Antonio was making early had, until this most recent game, pretty much disappeared. There were a lot. He was returning shots he was not returning early on. His serve has been a lot better, except for that last game. But we'll see again, as Fisher now maybe has momentum again. He can, I think, there's a chance he ends things quickly.
Well, yeah, what you'll find is the underdog sometimes that as you settle into a match against a favorite, you build some confidence. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good serve from Evan.
A lot of velocity on that one.
That's all he needs to do. He needs to just put the first serves in, play his game, and win the next 8.
Yeah, Antonio looks a little nervous now. Momentum definitely back in Fisher's side after that last one. Antonio kind of really struggled in that last one.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet Coach Ute at the changeover just told him, look, make your first serves. Don't stay out here longer than you need to, because with a win today, we'll play again on Friday, I believe. And if that's the case, and we'll also, if we win it Friday, we'll have Saturday, all big matches. So Evan wants to be sharp.
And 30-15.
30-15.
Again, I think normally Fisher makes that shot. No, that's not. That's one you've
Yeah.
watched him. I watched him attempt it a lot with Engel hitting it. And no offense to Antonio, Engel hits it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
40-15.
Well,
Fisher.
you can tell by the demeanor when he hits the shot. You know that tells you a lot about what their expectation is, and you know you'll see Evan miss sometimes in a good rally, and he's okay with it. But you know that's a miss where when you're hanging your head, it just shows like it's when you want back.
At 40-15 though, Fisher, despite all the struggles here, looks to go up 9-7, fault 1. Yeah, only need 10 here to win it. And that's that one.
It's a good service game.
Yep, 9-7 as we near. This could be the beginning of the end here, if you will, as we head into what could be the last game.
Mm-hmm. But you know this has been a good match, and it's good when you have a lot of matches that are pretty one-sided to have some competition, especially at the #1 line.
Couldn't agree more. And Fisher started out bored. You could hear him exclaim it like because Antonio was not landing those serves.
Yeah. Well, that's it's very tough to build a rhythm when your points are pretty quick, and you know our coaches tell us whenever we're heavily favored against a team, it's every point still matters, you know, because the danger is slipping into a bad habit when you don't need to be playing your best.
And Antonio certainly capitalized on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a good point from Evan. That's the type of aggression we've done a lot of work on, you know, maintaining aggression even when you don't necessarily need to be the most aggressive.
And I believe it's 30 love here from Fisher. Fault 1 from Antonio. Serve definitely regressed here. Folded in the moment, arguably. Double fault.
That might have been a let.
Correction,
Caught the net and dropped.
Sent that back to us. I believe that'll make it 30-15, Antonio? Or no, 30-15 Fisher. Yeah, 30-15 Fisher. Ran him all over the court. 40-15. Fisher one shot away here from ending things.
Yeah, and he'll be very happy to get off the court if he can put it away here.
It could be escaping with a victory. 40-30. See if Antonio can keep things alive here. And we're tied at deuce.
Yeah.
Antonio not going out without a fight.
No, he is not, and I mean credit to him for keeping the level up. You know, it's probably tough to know like the match doesn't necessarily affect the outcome, but still staying in it.
But if anything, we just differentiate the bus ride home, right? You got everyone else kind of sat on that bus, and Antonio got a fake sadness as he beat the Mary Washington commit.
Wow.
And advantage Antonio. Yeah, it could be a rough bus ride for everyone else but Antonio potentially, right? You gotta, he's definitely got to be happy with how he played the day.
Yeah, you know, I mean, anytime you're, I mean, 8-5, 9-5, you know, this is still a close match from him, but. And I think ultimately you have to think about how you're playing, you know, and that's an unfortunate error there, but I think generally he's tried to stay competitive, tried to handle the pace from Evan, and that always feels good as a player.
Absolutely, and we're heading in, right again. Still, is it back at deuce, I believe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's deuce.
And advantage Antonio again. And that'll do that one.
You know, a little known fact about the Bishop Ireton St. Chris matchup is that in 2011, the famous hook and ladder play was against Bishop Ireton.
I'm not familiar. I know that term in football. Is there a tennis hook and ladder as well?
No. This was a tennis. Or sorry, this was football.
We ran a hook and ladder in States?
Yeah, Mr. Carlson was just telling me about it on the sidelines. I wasn't familiar with the school, but he informed me that in 2011 States, St. Chris was down, I think, by about 4 on our own 4-yard line, and they'd run a hook and ladder play, which they practiced the day before, and ended up scoring a 99-yard touchdown, made it on SportsCenter top 10, and unfortunately we're trounced in the state finals, I believe, by Liberty Christian Academy, but a solid win for the Saints with a rare play.
Hook and ladder is a gem. You know, underused, I think, in the NFL. I haven't seen that one in a while, or even in college. You know, modern day, you know, there probably has been more instances than I've seen, but I feel like back in the day it used to be used a little bit more, especially in the flag football days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Flag football days, those are intense.
Hook and ladder is a great option for flag football, I got to tell you.
You know, I used to dabble in flag football myself, but I'm thankful I pursued tennis instead.
I think St. Christopher's is thankful of that, too.
Yeah. I think Coach Cleland wouldn't have many plays for me on the team, unfortunately.
I don't think he's a fan of the hook and ladder, unfortunately.
Yeah. Or, you know, 5'10" guys with very little muscle either.
Coach Bland would get you in shape. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, Evan's hopefully looking to come out here, just put first serves in and get off the court.
Just on the scoreboard, I believe it is 9-8, but I could be wrong.
9-6.
9-6. That is my bad, folks. I'm sorry. I believe it was 9-8. I overestimated Antonio a little bit. 9-6 here for Fisher. Again, this has been a dogfight all day. Antonio got to be very proud of how he's played, but if you're Fisher, you're looking just to end things right here.
Exactly.
Antonio fought back to get that last game.
Yes, he did. He held strong in that deuce. That's the game plan for Fisher right there.
15 love, Fisher. Fault from Fisher. 15 love. 30
There
love,
it is.
Fisher.
Solid play by Fisher.
And that is 40 love.
Exactly, the first serve game plan.
And while this match has not been quick today, to say the least, this could be a quick end. Nope, 40-15.
That's always a frustrating miss as a player.
He's missed that shot a few times today. That kind of like backpedaling off, hitting it back over a shot you've seen him hit many times. It's a difficult shot, but one Fisher normally hits.
Well, you know, expectation is an important part of that, and I think Antonio's been surprising.
Another careless mistake there from Fisher. 40-30. Yeah, one of the things, Antonio started off slow, and then he just locked in, and you saw some flawless tennis from Antonio at a certain point in the game where it just felt he was just dominating the course of the match for a few games.
There it is.
There it is. Fisher takes it.
Solid
We
win.
are done here, 6-0. I'm Austin Levin. With me is Nick Menendez. Nick,
Thank you,
thanks for tuning
Austin.
in. Evan Fisher takes it. Saints advance to the quarterfinals. Sorry, to the semifinals. Welcome back, Edison. Saints advanced to the semifinals with a 6-0 victory against Bishop Ireton. Edison, what are your thoughts from the Fisher-Antonio matchup?
Yeah, really impressive showing by Fisher to regain his composure after Antonio kind of gained the momentum, as it was 3-0. Then at one point, it was tied 7-7. So
I think it's actually 7-6, or sorry, 7-5 was actually, we overestimated Antonio's great performance.
Yeah, but Antonio was in control a little bit, but Fisher did a great job to rebound and ended up taking the match.
Absolutely. Well, that'll be all. We could end up with a post-game interview, but until then, see ya. Most likely not. Take care, folks. I'm Austin Levin. With me is Edison Palumbi. Saints heading to the semifinals.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in.